Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us. We appreciate all of you. Syracuse hung until they didn't in a 67-53 loss. In the Jimmy V Classic versus Villanova, you'll hear from us and we'll hear from you in fan feedback. And Syracuse will face off against their biggest non-conference foe, the Hoyas, this Saturday at noon in Georgetown. We'll let you know what we think about that. And we will get into the coach montage. But first, as always, some football news will take precedent before we get started. So, Cooper Lutz, Joe, has entered the transfer portal, and over his Syracuse tenure, he's accumulated 306 rushing yards on 60 carries and 2 touchdowns. He's the 12th player, according to Mike McAllister, to enter the transfer portal since the 2021 season started. So, the numbers getting up there. He's basically the backup running back this year, right? So, with the other transfers and all that. So, I mean, I don't know how to look at this one. I think 100 of those 306 came in one game, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't remember. I will have to look that up. But not a guy getting a ton of touches. He was, I think he was, Mike McAllister mentioned he's a special teams captain. So he's big on special teams front. And you got to have those guys. And I guess that's kind of where some of this will hit us on the offensive end, and having some of these guys on the special teams unit. So, I mean, I don't know, like you say, Joe. You know, you got if you're deep, you got good special teams. If you're not deep, it's a struggle.
Yeah, and it's just going to be interesting to see because I just feel like this transfer portal and just the way that everything shakes out, I feel like it's kind of a negative for really unless you're a team that's predominantly ranked every year and have a chance to actually do something because, you're going to have these situations now where you have Cooper Lutz, which, I mean, I don't really blame him for leaving, I mean, for as many times as we ran the ball, which I can argue we probably should have ran more, but he probably should have been able to get more carries, and now it's a situation where Sean Tucker's coming back. He knows it. And if it's going to be similar to next year, I mean, these players, again, if you don't have to sit out, they can go somewhere where they can play immediately. I don't know if Cooper Lutz is going to be able to get, a Power 5 type team to take him and him have a different role. But again, they've proven it doesn't matter like where you play. You can get in the NFL from anywhere. I mean, Tampa Bay's got a lineman that got drafted from Hobart. It's a D3 school in New York, right? So
look at
doesn't matter where you play, but the problem is you have to play and be seen, right?
Taylor Heineke.
Even if Cooper Lutz goes to the MAC, goes to the AAC, whatever. If he's looking for a place where he's going to go and he's going to get a chance to be a starter, and that's not what any running back is. So again, it's tough because now we have a situation where what running back are we going to get in the portal?
I don't know, but there's Josh Huff, who's still, I mean, I know he was probably redshirted, obviously, but he'll be a redshirt sophomore next year, right? So our redshirt freshman next year, probably. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not official, but go ahead.
Now we have an emergency, right?
I mean, it feels like it. That's kind of why I'm, that's why I'm a little nervous.
Running backs, right?
Yeah, it's a problem.
You only have 2 running backs on the roster. Yeah, last year, before the season, I feel like we had 6.
I mean, we had so many at one time. We were like, well, maybe a couple of these guys should probably transfer, right?
So Garrison Johnson transferred, and then obviously you had oh God, I can't even think of his name now. Jarvion Howard transferred. We're losing Abdul Adams, I think.
Yeah.
So, and now Cooper Lutz. So, yeah, I mean, you get to a situation or a point in your career like Cooper Lutz, and he's already played 3 years, and he knows he's not going to get. So, I mean, he's going to go somewhere where he can play, and now we got to fill the position with, pretty much freshmen. Because again, who in the transfer portal is going to come to Syracuse to just play special teams or back up Sean Tucker?
Right. Well, you got to. Well, you got to find one. That's not for us to worry about. That's for Coach to worry about, and he better put something together. I mean, plain and simple. He's got a whole off season. He'll find something somewhere. I hope they just got to hit the transfer portal hard. That's where you're going to build your roster right now. Okay, we already know who's coming in, so that's where you're going to have to build your roster. Everybody else is doing it. There's plenty of players in there. It's time to hit it hard. Start recruiting from it, and we'll have to go from there. And he's the one on the hot seat. So
again, but it's just, to me, it's tough, right? Because to me, like, if you have Mikel Jones come back and you look at that linebacker core, like, if I'm a linebacker or if I'm a running back, I'm not going to transfer to Syracuse. Because if you're transferring, you're going to transfer portal. Most of these guys are doing it because they want a chance to play. So they're going to go to some.
Well, they're not all going to get a chance to play. They can't all get a chance to play.
Okay, so then now you go to, okay, well, where's the next
you hold out, right?
And get the...
You're going to have the holdouts at the end. Right? The people, you're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. Maybe you find a gem. Maybe you find a diamond in the rough. Someone that hasn't been picked up that needs to be picked up that wants to play that'll assume a backup running back role. So look, I mean, I don't have the answers. I'm just letting you know. I don't know what else you do. You're not recruiting from high school for it. Not right now. It's like we don't have a choice right now. You got to go to the portal. It's got to happen. And I don't know what's going on internally, if there is anything going on. I'm not even saying there is, but like you said, and some people pointed out, I don't blame these guys either, but it's stupid. It's ruining college sports. It's out of control. I mean, look, I'm all for player freedom, so to speak, or what have you, being able to do this. But this should be a thing where they should be able to play immediately and you get one transfer in your college career. And I thought we were there. But this whole COVID thing has just spiked everything in every freaked out direction, everywhere, in every situation, in sports, in just life. It's beyond stupid. And it's time to start reeling it in because it's going to destroy the NCAA. And it's going to destroy programs too. It's not just the NCAA. It's not going to destroy the NCAA. The NCAA will last, right? That's hyperbole. But it will destroy some programs. And it's going to hurt people. It's going to hurt the depth of some good programs. And one of those could possibly be Syracuse. So with that said, Coach he's got to put his feelers out. That's all there is to it. He's going to be looking for a wide receivers coach as well. Terrence Samuel, he announced after, I guess what? Well, hold on a second. Was he? Yeah, he was only after 1 year. Yeah, so he's leaving after 1 year. He's got an offensive staff position at Kansas, so he's gone. So on the flip side of that, though, Syracuse seems to be bringing in Bob Legashevsky as their special teams coordinator. And he's spent a lot of time and he's been around. He's spent a lot of time in the NCAA. He's been in the NFL since 2000. He was with the Pitt Panthers from 2003, Jaguars 2004, took some time off, 05, 06 with the Rams. So, I mean, he's been there. I think he was with maybe with the Texans somewhere at some point. And you're getting some experience there with that. So on a positive note, I don't know much about.
He's got a Super Bowl ring, I think, with the Steelers.
Okay, well there you go. And I don't know much about the dude, but
your special teams coordinator in the NFL. Then.
So Jacksonville Jaguars special teams coordinator, Rams special teams coordinator, Pittsburgh tight ends and special teams coach for Pitt and Panthers. So. Anyways, for what it's worth, that's some experience. So that's good. I don't know what you do about the wide receiver coach. Got to be honest. Once again, didn't even know this guy's name. So with that said, I mean, seriously, I'm just being honest, man.
It's been 1 year, and
right.
You're obviously gonna have to replace him. So
I'm sure we mentioned him as he came in because we always do. I just don't remember.
Right.
So, all right. With that said, man, I'm behind. We're behind. We spent a little bit too much time on that. So with that said, before we get into the montage, we've got to talk about MyBookie. It's not every day you can double your money, but with MyBookie, you double your money instantly thanks to their double deposit bonus for all new users. With MyBookie's double deposit bonus, when you sign up at mybookie.ag and use the promo code SPORTSDRINK, you'll instantly receive double your initial deposit so you can kickstart your betting experience with all the best games, leagues, and casino options there are to choose from. Set yourself up for success by doubling your first deposit when using the promo code SPORTSDRINK at MyBookie. The promo code SPORTSDRINK to double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime. And how about that Bills-Patriots game we were talking about? The Patriots take it. Joe was right. But I'll bet you, Joe, if you saw Mac Jones' stat line and was asked if they won or lost, it's a loss with his 23 yards. Or was it 19 yards? Was it 19 yards?
Most likely.
Okay. Anyway.
I would have thought that.
Something like 40-something rushes. And there was 30-something of them in a row. Anyway. I'm sure that was a prop bet on MyBookie. Go over there, check it out. MyBookie.ag. Okay. Let's listen to what Coach had to say after the game.
I think our defense has been getting better. I think that was one of the key things in early season tournament losses and early season at home. We had to get better defensively. We've done that. I think the one thing that hurt us tonight is the rebounding aspect, and they were really quick to the ball. 5 of them are physical, strong guys, and they just beat us on second shots. I thought our first defense was good. I think they shot 26% from the three. I think they're a 40% shooting team from the three. So I think we did a good job there. I think that second chance efforts, and 2 of those threes came off missed shots too. But I just thought that we played really good defensively, and the second chances really hurt us. I thought offensively we just struggled. It was a struggle. They're a really good defensive team, and you're going to struggle against them. But it's a physical game, and we're not as physical as we need to be.
What was the key for Jimmy today, Coach? What was the key for Jimmy today?
They don't come off our shooters. He's a really good driver, and most teams come off a little bit, but they didn't. We felt they probably wouldn't come off, but so he had good opportunities, good openings to get down there. And again, I mean, Jesse, we got the ball to Jesse. He's got to get stronger. I mean, he had some great opportunities, and the ball got knocked loose, or he didn't finish. And I mean, they fouled him, and I think he's a good free throw shooter. He didn't shoot well tonight from the line.
Did they send more people to the glass in the second half? I feel like you guys were a little overwhelmed in there a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
no.
Bottom line is
they didn't.
We just got to do better. Bottom line.
No.
How big is just trying to develop the bench?
Frank comes in. He's given us some good minutes. Samir gave us some, but we're limited coming off the bench. We've got to get it done with the guys that are in there, and when you lose, that's what everybody says. Villanova played how many guys tonight? Was anybody asking them if they need to get anybody coming off the bench?
They had a player come off the bench.
One.
Yeah.
I'd like to have one. If I had one, I'd put him in there.
Obviously, Buddy's struggling, like you mentioned before, but how does this game for him shooting compare to other ones that you've seen from him?
He's getting. I mean, he's not getting an easy shot until you got a couple at the end. But he's making tough. The games he's had really good games. He's made tough shots in those games, and with Indiana, every shot he took was tough. He didn't really, I don't think, have an easy shot in the game. So I know he can make them, and he's just going to keep working at it. He's going to go back and work twice as hard probably as he always does, and he'll bounce back. But for us to be successful offensively, we're on the verge where we can get there. Cole and Buddy have got to be guys that can score for us. I think Jimmy's made a huge impact. I think Joe's been really good, and I think Jesse's, getting there as well. Tremendous improvement.
All right, Joe, let's start at the top of the montage here. We will save the rebounding stuff for fan feedback. There's some stuff in there about that. I think we can shelf that. Okay, defense getting better, Joe. I would say yes, absolutely. And
no, it does.
Yes, exactly. Right? Okay.
I mean, it has its little.
Sure, they're going
to have their little. Again, you have your games, right?
Sure.
So, but traditionally with this, and with you get new players in from different teams, and it takes a little while. We've seen this, and I mean, I believe it.
Yeah.
I've seen the defense get better. To me, personally,
they were
since VCU, Colgate. Yeah.
Yes, they were very scrappy in the first half of that game, and. It was okay. First half should have been up by way more than 3, right? Defense played excellent in the first half. Absolutely fantastic.
They shot really bad.
They shot really bad. We were getting some good bounces, had plenty of defensive rebounds to go down on empty trips for Villanova and turn those into points when we had the momentum. And we weren't able to do it. We didn't capitalize there. And the lack of ball movement in the first half contributed to some of that poor offense. And so you got hero ball, and, that just doesn't get it done. Historically, the Syracuse teams just, tie us battle, okay? But, that was even a struggle, right? So
first half was weird to me because in the beginning I remember like they were keeping it close, and I remember it was like 16-16, or it was like, it was early. It was close, and they were keeping it close, and I think we're losing the turnover battle 5-1, like really early. We were sloppy with the ball early, and then
some sloppy calls too. I don't know if a little bit in the first, a little bit in the second. Sloppy calls on some of that stuff.
Yeah, and I remember being like, okay, well, the way we're playing, we should be getting killed, but we're not, so that's good, right? But then as the half went on, it's like, oh man, we were going into halftime and you have the lead, but when you saw how our defense played and how they shot, you were like, oh man, we should have definitely been up by more than 3. To your point, like what he said, it was a kind of a high
bittersweet.
And a low.
It was bittersweet.
Yeah,
it was great to be.
My whole attitude changed from, oh well, okay, we're lucky to be in here because we started off bad. Like I said, we only had 11 turnovers the whole game, and we started off 5-1. Like we had 5 quick turnovers, some bad shots. And
Joe dribbled off his foot once, and
right. But we're still in it. So we're like, okay, you're like optimistic. And then, like you said, he was like, you're up 3. And it's like, yeah, I'm happy we're up, but it should be way more than this. Like, I'm not because you knew that Villanova wasn't going to miss in the second half like they did in the first.
No, 13 for 50 though. My gosh. I mean, how do you defend 53-point shots? And that's freaking. That's just a barrage.
You rebound.
Well, you rebound, yeah. A couple second chance points killed us in the second half. We can get into a little bit of that later. Well, but what I want to get to really is what the coach was saying about need to be more physical. This team needs to be way more physical. And that started, they should always be physical, right? But when the whistles at against Indiana, that game was a physical game. They just couldn't match it. And they got to be able to match it. Joe's a pretty scrappy guy, but these other guys, they got to step up. Jesse, like Joe said, he's got to get stronger, and he can't have the ball slapped out of his hand and be bullied around down there. He does excellent. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Jesse at all. He's improved tremendously. He's becoming an excellent player, and it's early in the season. He'll get better there. all of these little things they're going to get better. You know, we know what we got with Buddy. You know, he runs into these slumps, guys, and he comes out of them too. And when he comes out of them, boy, oh boy, watch out. So, and we don't know what else could be going on, you know. So, because he did have, you know, these guys, they're face guarding them, you know, they're playing really good defense against Buddy, and they were, but he had some good looks. He had some good looks, and he missed. I mean, 0 for 5 from 3 with 6 points, and the other thing is on the physical end, only Jesse Edwards getting to the line. That was just kind of brutal. I mean, you make the big man shoot 15 free throws. He's the only one down there freaking going up strong with anything. Got to get in there. You got to get in there, and you got to draw the fouls. I mean, this should be their game. They have excellent free throw shooters. This should be a tremendous part of their game, right?
No, and I mean, I think they let them play, you know, and that's where we saw the physicalness, and that's where we saw the, you know, some of the bad calls where you didn't know who it went off of, right? And, you know, them just taking offensive rebounds or rebounds away from Jesse. And, you know, like you said, it's the physical part of it. You know, not every refs it the same way. So there's some refs that, they're going to be whistle happy and they're going to send you to the line. Well, that wouldn't have been a good thing for Villanova, because I thought there were some times that, you know, Buddy got fouled. Jimmy had a great game, but in the amount of times that he went to the hole, you didn't tell me not one time it wouldn't have and one, not one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the free throws were weird in this game because it was like Jesse Edwards shot all 15, hit 8 of them. And then you want to complain about some of the you know, some other people not getting free throws or you're not getting fouls called. But then you look at, and granted, I know Villanova, they shot 53 pointers.
They didn't drive it inside either. There were 4. I mean,
dude, they shot, but that's what I'm saying is they shot 53 pointers. They still shot 77 shots. They still shot 27 shots inside the 3-point line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they only went to the line 6 times
Mm-hmm.
and was 4 of 6.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's hard to complain about fouls when you look across the other side, and they only got to the line 6 times, right?
That's a solid point, yeah. But, the refs let them play physical, and obviously, like you said, you know, when needs to be matched.
Physical, sometimes it needs to be matched, but sometimes it makes things a little bit more difficult. What would be a foul you normally called is not, and you know, a little bit of a bump or a little bit of physicality maybe takes you a little bit off your mark, what you're normally used to shooting, and they don't call the foul. You get a little, you know, frustrated, and you let it affect your game. You know, sometimes that happens, and it just seems to us like we need to figure out how to play against games that go, you know, that way, especially against a very, you know, physical team. Because it wasn't like we weren't in the spots. Like, we were playing tough, we were hustling, we were in the spots, we were there to get the ball. But it just seemed like every loose ball, every, you know, thing that wasn't just locked up and grabbed, rebound, everything, Villanova ended up getting.
Yeah,
that's what it seemed like.
Right. And the possession arrow saved us once, thank God. But the 50-50 balls, you're right. They're just more aggressive to it, man. And that's all there is to it. And as far as getting to the line in you know, when you're dealing with a physical defense like that, if you go up hard, I mean, you're gonna get the contact. I mean, the harder you go up, the harder you're gonna make contact, right? So when it does come down to it. So, and there, and you know, Jesse, I mean, look, let's be honest, you know, Jesse Edwards with only 3 fouls. So, I mean, so maybe that was a good thing. I mean, it gave us a shot, maybe, you know, who knows? Maybe he's sitting longer if they tighten those whistles up a little bit. Who knows? Right. So, but he was being, I did notice he was being very careful. Despite the loose whistles, he was being very careful. You could tell he was backing up.
One of those fouls too was that one foul where he didn't want to go flying into the stands.
Yes, and he grabbed the dude.
Then he grabbed the guy so that he held himself up, which I mean, that's a foul.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, they didn't call it.
But they called it on the floor.
It was the right call.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Jesse, I can see Jesse. He's like, "What do you want me to just go flying into the stands?" You know what I mean? I did this for safety reasons, but you know. It's what it is.
Your Jim Boeheim moment of the press conference when I believe it was Donna Ditota asked if Villanova sent more people to the glass, and she asked Jimmy, and Jim jumps in. No, they didn't. I mean, guys, I'm sorry. It sounds so rude. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm sorry. It's entertaining to me. I know some people hate it, but it's entertaining to me, and
it's just nice and awkward. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And I hate that it comes at Donna's expense, like the last 3 press conferences. I don't know if she wrote something nasty about him or what, but goodness gracious,
I don't know either.
Developing the bench. He was asked, and look, they're limited on the bench, okay? These guys got to get better. Symir's getting better. Benny's going to get better. They're all going to get... Frank's not doing terrible. I mean, they're going to get better. Well, they're not going to get better if they don't get playing time. Well, let me tell you what. They're going to have to see it before they get the time. It's not an experiment anymore. We're exiting that phase, and we don't have any of those games left. Let's see. Lehigh, Cornell, maybe.
Lehigh and Cornell, we got a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that said, those are going to be perfect games to go into before we get into ACC play. It'll happen. Coach is going to pound it into them at every chance he can, and he should, because Benny needs to be better. Okay, he's one of the more physical guys, 5-star guy. He needs to be more physical, and he's the more physical he is, the more time he's going to get, and the better he's going to do. And we need him out there. So, anything to say to that, Joe?
I mean, we can't navigate the season just playing 5 people, right?
Sure,
but at
right.
the same time, I mean, a lot of players have bad games against Villanova.
I mean, they're 6th in the country, right? I mean, they're they're an excellent team, and we held them 67 points. That's pretty damn good. I think so. Okay,
they were a solid team. I mean, like I said, I don't know if they're a top 10 team. I don't know if you're talking about, a top 3 seed in the tournament team, but I think that they're a top 25 team. They're a solid team.
Yeah, they're solid. I mean, they'll probably drop at some point, but they could get better too. The other thing I wanted to say real quick is that I was impressed with Syracuse's first half. I didn't hold out much hope for like a win, just with the 3-point lead at halftime, and I mean, it just wasn't boding well. But I was happy with the game overall. They lost it late. It was late. It was late when they lost it, and you could see him slipping. I mean, the body language told you everything. They saw it slipping away, and I wish Cole Swider had a better game, but Buddy did not have a great game. It's 2 in a row for him, and like Coach said, the games where he's been on fire, he's made those difficult shots, and he does that. He does that a lot, and he'll come back and he'll do it. This happened last year. It's happened the year before. I mean, the kid's Teflon. I mean, he'll come back and he'll be on fire, and we'll all be at the end of the season probably thinking about these 2 games between Villanova and Florida State where he just wasn't that great, and he scored 12 points altogether or something, and he'll be up in the 20s averaging. He came into the Villanova game averaging 19 points a game. So obviously this is going to take a hit on that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he started off hot, and I was like, okay, I think I was getting the feeling that he was going to have a really good game, and then he kind of started falling off a little bit. And again, I don't know what to equate that to other than Villanova's defense, but.
Well, he had some open looks, though. I mean, I don't know either.
Yeah, but we only had 4 assists.
Well, like I said, they weren't passing the ball. They weren't passing the ball. They weren't moving the ball at all, man.
There wasn't a lot of people moving, though, either. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's a problem.
A lot of people standing around and waiting for people to just, man them, one-on-one type stuff. Yeah, so, again, I mean, a lot of it was Villanova's defense, but a lot of it was our offense as well.
Yes. And Buddy's right now, after the Villanova game, still averaging just under 18 points a game, for what it's worth. So, the law of averages. But with that said, when you talk about offense, and Coach did, he was saying, Buddy and Cole, they need to score. And Jimmy's been a great addition. Joe Girard is, I mean, this dude, he hits them deep once, twice a game. I mean, he does. He's one of those guys where when he throws it up, sometimes you're like, no, oh yes, okay, good. Because he just throws it up from deep and ends up just nailing it. But without Jimmy and Joe, you can't guard them all. So these guys got to step up, and Jimmy did yesterday with a game high 21 points. And
he really did. I don't know where we would have been.
Well, I'm sorry. It was game high. So, well, I mean, look, that he did what he needed to do, and Jimmy did everything he needed to do. Besides, 2 rebounds. That needs to get better, right? Buddy had 0 rebounds. So, and that's where it's at. That's a huge problem. So,
yeah. Yeah, rebounds on. I mean, offense. You can't. Buddy had. I feel like I jinxed him because I said he probably had the worst shooting day that he was going to have the whole season against Florida State, and he turns around and
does it again.
Has a worse day. No, he has. I mean, he scored 6, but with 5 more shots. So than he did against Florida State. So, and Cole only scoring 5, so only getting 11 out of them, especially when you're playing against a ranked team. I mean, that's just not going to cut it. And if Jimmy didn't do what he did, then this wouldn't have never been a close game.
And Cole started out with that 3 too, and you're like, hell yes, he's gonna let's have this.
That's
happen.
why I was saying.
Yeah.
That's why I thought he was going to have a good game. I mean, he had 3 blocks, he had 12 rebounds, so and a steal. He didn't turn it over much. You know what I mean? He took 7 shots. It wasn't even like he was really, really inefficient. He only hit one. He only shot 3 threes and hit one of them. So, and that's the other thing with Joe is this year. The one thing that I've been seeing from him is obviously he's going to hit those deep shots, right? He didn't go crazy with the points, and he is looking for other people. He hit Jesse Edwards and stuff like that. But sometimes when he hits shots, he gets a little flashy, and having some of these turnovers, or he's going off of his foot and stuff like that, or he's trying to go too fast. Him having 4 turnovers is still too much. But the one thing that I've seen him this year is that he's just way more efficient offensively, like I said, minus the turnovers. I'm more talking shooting wise. Last night he had 11 points, but he went 4-7, 3 of 5 from the 3-point line, so he's not hucking up a bunch of shots like he did last year. It seems like the shots are being a little bit more spread out this year too. So again, it's just figuring it out. And sometimes when you play against these tough defenses, it's not as easy as you'd think.
But, we'll talk. We'll get into it after fan feedback. But there's some things to look forward to work on some of that stuff. So you heard from us. It's time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
You guys know what to do at the end of every game. I go to the socials. I ask you for your thoughts. You leave them. I read them. We pick some. We talk about them here. But first, before we get into all of that, let's talk once again about MyBookie real quick. It's not every day you can double your money, but with MyBookie, you double your money instantly thanks to their double deposit bonus for all new users. With MyBookie's double deposit bonus, when you sign up at mybookie.ag and use the promo code SPORTSDRINK, you'll instantly receive double your initial deposit so you can kickstart your betting experience with all of the best games, leagues, and casino options to choose from. Set yourself up for success by doubling your first deposit when you use the promo code SPORTSDRINK at MyBookie. That's promo code SPORTSDRINK to double your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Look, Symbol is the sports stock market that allows you to profit off your sports knowledge. On Symbol, you can trade sports teams like stocks, and every time your team wins, you earn cash. You use your sports knowledge on Symbol to buy low, sell high, and earn cash payouts when your team wins. Join the 7,000 plus early adopters who have started to invest in their favorite teams. Visit www.simbull.com to create a free account, and when you deposit, make sure to use the promo code SD to make your deposit risk-free. Visit Symbol.com and use the promo code SD, and your deposit will be risk-free. This means even if you lose money, Symbol will refund your initial deposit. No questions asked. Join Symbol and start investing and profiting off your favorite teams today. Symbol.com and the Spotify Green Room app. Go to your iOS or Android stores. Go to there. Download the Spotify Green Room app. It is free. Username, email address, and the password gets you in. Search for us at Cuse Militia. Give us a follow there. Sign up for notifications. When we go live, you will be notified. And we will be doing this for fan feedback and fan feedback only. Since the season's in full swing, we're just going to do fan feedback. But we would love to hear from you guys. To go there and sign up for that. Follow us. And, you don't have to just follow us. There's plenty of topics to choose from. You can choose pop culture, music, sports, anything, poker. For crying out loud, they have freaking everything. So go there, download the app today at your iOS or Android stores. Username, email address, and the password. It's free. Spotify Green Room. Thank you. All right, let's start with Facebook. Joe, let's start with Nate. I think this is Nate. Yes, Nate. 34 minutes of pretty good basketball against a really good team. Lack of rebounding and Buddy being off were killer. Yes. I mean, look, got out-rebounded by 21. They had freaking 16 more offensive rebounds than us. That's brutal. That is brutal.
Yeah.
Now, they were getting some good bounces. I mean, long shots. Long shots create the long bounce, right? So, and that's where they were. I don't know. You just got to be better. And we got killed.
No.
We got killed.
No, there's 50-50 balls, right?
Right. Well, here's the other, right, true. But I don't know exactly. This seemed to happen in the second half. There seemed to be so many second chance points for Villanova in the second half. That was the difference. And that's where you started to see it slip, right? So I wish I should look at halftime stats, which I don't do. But plus, not to mention, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Guys, I was tired. I'd have DVR'd that thing if it wasn't having to leave the stupid tweet in the post on Facebook to get y'all's thoughts. Because I'd have DVR'd that and freaking watched it when I finished it off when I got home. Okay? I was tired. Sorry.
Yeah.
It didn't end until midnight. The game before it goes into overtime, and I'm like, son of a bitch. This is the most Syracuse thing ever. To have a 9:30 start.
I said, oh, here we go. Yeah. And that was the whole thing. Was I was thinking about it, and I'm like, are these guys, I mean, they're going to be playing till midnight. Are they used to that? I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody, you know what I mean? But, like, is it going to have some type of effect? Like, I don't really know.
It probably had more of an effect on me than it did
Nate
them.
was right. Well, Nate was right because, 34 minutes. I mean, 50 with 6.5 minutes to go, I believe, or 6 minutes, somewhere in between there. Jimmy, he hit a jumper to bring it to 55-51 to get it within 4 points. This was, I think, 6:19 to go. So, I mean, we were right there, and all we were really waiting for was just somebody to hit a shot, Buddy to hit a shot, Cole to hit a shot.
Someone to get hot.
Yep, and we missed, and then someone on their team hit. Or they'd get the rebound, and then they put it back. So,
yeah. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not even mad at this loss. I mean, you can get mad at it, but I'm not even mad at it.
Not closer than the score indicates, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it just got away late, and and to your point, I mean, no one could freaking hit anything. It was right. Desperation mode, and when you're not hitting, then you're in desperation mode. I mean, that's a bad combination. Robert, top fan on Facebook. I'm not that upset. It made me realize how much I miss Big East. This was a fight. 2 observations. I can't get out-rebounded like that. I mean, that was crazy. If Buddy gets on track, this team will go a long way. That was fun, exciting. That was fun, except losing. Get some weight on Jesse. And, oh, my God. Yeah, so to his point and to Nate's point right before this, if Buddy's shooting good, this thing is a game down to the wire. Again, it's 3 in a row, cardiac Cuse game. And because they don't escape by 14 down the stretch like that if Buddy's on. There's no way. And that halftime lead is probably more like 9 or 10. I mean, going into the locker room at the half, so.
No. Well, I mean, you look at it, Indiana was a top 30 team.
Yeah.
And we beat them. It was a crazy game, right? When we played decent, obviously won. But gave up a lot of points and everything like that. Now Florida State is probably a top 40 team. Not as good as Indiana, but we beat them with Buddy just scoring 6 points. And now, fast forward, we're playing a team that's, a tier above Indiana, probably a top 20 team, top 25 team. And Buddy's, we only scored 6 points and we lost the way that we lost. Now, granted, if somebody that didn't watch the game went and looked at the box score and looked at the final score, then you could probably guess, or you'd think that Villanova probably had it handled the whole time, right? Yeah. But that wasn't the case. And you're talking about now that's that top 25. So, and that's without Buddy scoring. So again, we still don't know where our ceiling is. So there's some observations, like, again, Robert, it's good observations, and it's one of the same ones that I saw that, we've seen our floor, I think.
Cornell, right?
It's in Colgate, not
Or
fun.
yeah, that's what I mean, Colgate.
Right, but I think obviously, I think we're past that. I think we're past that type of loss. I think with our defense at this point. But again, where our ceiling is, I couldn't tell you because if we played that close of a game with Swider and Buddy only combining with 11 points, so if we're all hitting and our offense is playing really good and we're passing the ball and stuff, I mean, who knows? Who knows who we can beat?
Lester on Facebook, this team is just not good. And they won't be. It's okay. Off years happen. ACC play is going to rock this team. You know what you have by this time in the year. This starting five, that's where I stopped reading this comment, by the way. But I'll keep going.
Is there a reason you're reading it in the first place?
The starting five just isn't that good. Give Benny some major playing time. He is raw and doesn't look good yet, but he is your future. Build it now. Play Torrance more. See if he can give him a spark with extended play. His defense is way better than starting guard. Swider is good for hustle play and rebounding. Okay, so he goes on to give analysis. This team just isn't good, and they won't be. It's okay. Off years happen. ACC play is going to rock this team. You know what they have by this time in the year. I totally 100% disagree with that. You have a good idea. You have a good idea of like what's going on, but have we not seen improvement? I mean, what are we? What's the damn? What are we? How many games are we in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
5 and 4.
Okay, so look, we got a good idea. I think we have a good idea, but this team, I don't know if Lester, if you remember last year when we were a bubble team all the way until we made it to the Sweet 16. So,
that's what it is. It's happened before too, right?
Yes.
So again, the beginning of the year, the non-conference in these games are to figure out what you do have, right? But that's so that you figure out what you have to improve. Like, it's not a finished product. If it was a finished product, then they would just have the tournament now. That's why you go into play. So, I don't think that's the clearest way to think about it. I just don't have that mentality. I just don't have that mentality as a fan, because remember last episode we talked about the fact of these type of fans that are saying these that have these comments or these opinions. You're essentially saying just give up losses. You're giving up hope after 9 games in the season and saying
one loss is not a bad loss.
Let's play the future.
Right. Let's play the future.
How much we lose because this team's trash after 9 games. First off, a coach is never going to go with that. An athletic director is never going to go with that. There's no boss anywhere in any job where it's, this just isn't going to work. Let's replace
him with the trainee.
Hey, look, we're just going to do what we can here, and we'll do better next time.
That's not going
to happen.
It's that commercial. I don't know what it is, but they're talking about the coach, and he's like, I don't know, maybe on 3, 1, 2, 3, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. It's not how that works. It's not like you can go to a job and one of your guys messes up a window, and you're like, we're not going to fix it or try to get better here. Yeah. We'll be better at the next house.
Let's bring the apprentice in.
Let's have him do it. Apprentice in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give him playing time. Gary on Facebook, Jimmy Buckets. His best game of the year, just need to rebound better and could have won. Yeah, well, Jimmy Buckets for sure. I like it. And like I mentioned, 2 rebounds for Jimmy. And he played his ass off, so I'm not going to harp on him because he carried this team through the first half big time. And for some of the second half too, obviously. But, yeah, look, it's the story of the day. That's why I didn't talk about it in the beginning, because I knew we were going to talk about it a ton during fan feedback because it's all over the place. So, Jesse on Facebook, great effort. Still like the new defense. Great adjustments. Edwards was only player on our team to shoot a free throw. And he shot like a billion. So Jesse, a pretty good free throw shooter too, by the way. And when you're a big man like that and you shoot 15 of them, that's tough. So after the game last night, brought him down to 67.5% from the line for the year, which isn't awful for a center, but I think he missed 2 at the line at one time. And what was he? 60%? What was he? That's around 60%, right? That's around 60%, something like that. So 55%, but 53. So look, like to Joe's point, there was only 2 guys that got to the line on Villanova, and they shot 6 free throws. So it's a great point, Joe. I'll have to give you credit for that one because I didn't even look. Mahir at Mahirio_10 on the Twitter. Nova shooting 50 damn threes. What the actual hell? I love Jesse, but he has he has got to be meaner with that ball. Too many times the ball got ripped out of his hands. Cole needs to move better off the ball. Please pass the ball on offense. Ding, 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 ding. Jimmy, what? Hold on. Jimmy did what he could do. The ball movement was pitiful. It was tough to watch. And I actually felt bad for Jimmy sometimes when he had it. So, because I knew it was going to happen. But to Mahir's point, Coach mentioned it. Jesse's got to get stronger. I mean, he put on 25 pounds over the offseason? Could you imagine?
It was 15.
Was it 15? Okay. All right. Well, okay. Yeah, I think you're right. So, 15 and, hopefully he can put on another
more than just
5.
him have to be stronger, man.
Yeah, he's just got to be strong. He's got to get in the weight room. But you're not going to put on weight during the season.
Yeah. I mean, look, our offense could have played a little bit better. They could have passed a little bit better. But that was also a little bit to do with Villanova's defense and the way that they switch. Realistically, the way that they switch on everybody, the best offense was switching to get a mismatch, to pass the ball, to have it be a one-on-one situation, just because it's pretty much a mismatch. But really, I mean, where we lost it was the rebounding. Like I said before, there was many, many times where our guy was in position to get a rebound, and so was the other guy, and that's called the 50-50 ball. And at that point, it comes down to who wants it more. And not necessarily isn't a mental who wants it more, right? Because both guys want it. But who's going to
How bad do you want to sacrifice your body
so
for
now
it?
That goes past the mental and it goes into the physical and goes into some other things, right? Mm-hmm. So that's really where it was. Like you said, I mean, they out rebounded us 57-36. They out rebounded us by 21 points. Guess what? They also shot 21 more shots than we did. On top of that, 27 of those 57 rebounds were offensive rebounds. And they had 25 second chance points to our 7. So that alone is going to lose you a game every single time. It should have been way worse than 14. You can count our lucky stars.
This is Mrs. Murray.
Oh,
Would you
Miss
give
Murray.
me a call back?
Pardon the interruption. Miss Murray called me.
Miss Murray.
Miss Murray's the old lady down the street. She left me a voicemail, and I was hoping to just have it transcribed. No, but I was hoping to just have it transcribed because if she has an emergency, I'm going to have to go.
Okay.
Anyways, so I apologize. I didn't realize it was just going to start. I thought I could just read the transcription. I didn't think it was going to go nuts. Anyways.
No, I thought she was calling in. She had a question about the game or something.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. So sorry about that.
No, I mean, again, when you have those type of discrepancies, like when a team has 27 offensive rebounds, 25 second chance points, 21 more rebounds than you, and 21 more shots than you, I mean, you're lucky if you lose by 14. So,
I mean, true.
That was the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if Buddy hit, it would have been a little bit closer, or maybe they hit a couple shots that changes the momentum of the game and the fans get into it, and then maybe Villanova doesn't hit shots that they get with momentum. Who knows? But at the end of the day, that's what lost the game. I mean, you can't give up 27 offensive rebounds and lose the rebounding battle and the shooting or shots battle by 21. Just can't do it.
At If Not Now When 84, we never win in the script jerseys. Please listen to this. Listen to this. I love Michael, but Michael, this is horrible idea. Please stop using them as awesome as they look. No. What I think we need to do is use them more and prove you wrong because they're bound to win in them. if we just use them every time. What do you think, Joe?
No, the problem is that so it's vintage, right?
Yeah.
So of course we only wear them during special games, which usually means against a good team. So therefore,
Old Big East
that's where that
rivals,
comes
right?
down, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, don't get rid of them. Just play them against Lehigh and Cornell.
No, like I said,
but then nobody cares, right?
Right, like I said, you just bring them back and be done with this. They're the best jerseys that we have ever had. Everything. It's why we did the Cuse Militia. We redesigned the Cuse Militia logo and the script. I have everything.
You can't do that though.
Well, tough shit.
I think that hurts recruiting.
Shut up. Really?
I'm just saying.
Keeping the vintage script?
I don't even know if kids nowadays can read cursive. So at the end of the day,
that's
maybe they don't even know what.
That is solid, Joe. That's the most.
Just saying.
That's a truth bomb. That's a truth bomb.
Just
Absolutely.
saying.
It's so true.
Who knows if the kids would know who's playing? The orange.
Sir. Yeah.
The orange would be the only thing to tip it off, right? I mean,
jeez,
throwing it out there.
Oh, it's possible, dude. At Kevin McKenzie 11, pretty excruciating to watch your team fail to get a defensive rebound over and over and over and over and over and over. And I think I've made my point. We need to get Benny Williams better.
That's what it felt like last night.
We need to get Benny Williams better fast. We need his athleticism on the boards. Yes, but he has got
Go volunteer. Go volunteer then.
3 minutes for Benny. Look, he's got to do something, bro. He's got to do something. We've got to see it. It's got to be.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is, it's one of those things where I get it. I understand he's a 5-star. He's good. He's this.
Is he?
But what is all this? What is all this we stuff?
Yeah. Like what you got a mouse in your pocket?
The coaches aren't doing anything, right? If you want something to, go volunteer. Show up at practice and tell coach you want to help make Benny better.
Well, you heard coach said, and what they were talking about it was a little out of context when I played it in the montage, but they were talking about Caleb Daniels and coming off the bench. Okay. So basically Villanova had one guy come off the bench that was a contributor.
We talked about that.
Yeah. And what coach was saying was that if I had a guy that could play 18 minutes like Daniels, I would play him. Okay, well, he doesn't.
Well, that's the thing. The problem is the journalism is going to take it out because when you listen to it in the presser, he sounds like, well, how many does Villanova have, right? And he said 1, right? But then if you go in the box score, there's 4 guys that came off the bench, right? But realistically, when you look at the real minutes, he's talking about a sub that's going to come in.
6, 3, and 1 for the other 3.
Yeah. Right. He's talking about a substitute that's going to come in, play double-digit minutes, actually, put up stats that are going to, maybe change a game or help the game. That's what he's talking about. A guy he can bring in and have just as much as confidence that he's going to be able to come in and do something than a starter. Because that's what Villanova has with Caleb Daniels, and we don't have that. Sorry.
One more to wrap things up. At Cuse Lifer 15, needed to take advantage in the first half when Nova was cold and making mistakes. Boom. Exactly. That's what we talked about earlier. Absolutely. And they failed to do that. Like I said, that should have been a bigger lead at halftime. And, it is what it is. Very sloppy rebounding and strength to hold onto the ball. Not good. Cole has 12 rebounds to the rest 15. That's a good point. Joe is a little lazy at times. Buddy cold. Love the Jimmy play, though. Hard fight. On to the next. There you go. Cuse Lifer wrapping it up for us. Good job, everybody. We appreciate all of you. Go there at the end of every game. You'll find the post. Leave your thoughts. Do those things. And we'll talk about them here. Now, on to Georgetown. I love this rivalry every year. I really do. And I think they should keep it going. And I think they will. But it's a money thing, right? So we don't know. I think this is the last set game. Am I not? Am I correct?
Who knows? You can always fix things, right?
You need a beer? We have to take a time out for Joe to get a beer. Is this really happening? He texted me it.
Would you rather me just get up and leave?
No, you're good. Go. All right, welcome.
The beer was the cider.
Whatever. Welcome, Joe, back, everybody. We're back, and we're back at it. And sorry, pardon the interruption, okay? As I was saying, I don't remember what I was saying. But anyway.
Talking about Georgetown.
Yeah, I know.
Whether or not we were going to play him again.
Yes. Instead of texting me, couldn't you have texted Heather and say, hey, bring me a beer?
If she was home, I would have.
Oh, okay. Touche. The all-time series between the Orange and the Hoyas. The all-time series between the Orange and the Hoyas sits at 52-44 in favor of the Orange. Well, we all puff our chests out to that. 52-44. It's a decent-sized lead in that series. Georgetown and Syracuse first met in 1930 with the good guys taking out the bad guys 40-18. Syracuse hosted the first 7 games, losing only 1, winning 7 out of the first 10. Syracuse had 4 5-game win streaks against Georgetown in the series. The Hoyas had a 6-game and a 5-game winning streak against the Orange at one point. John Thompson. Legend John Thompson had a 26-21 record against Syracuse. Thompson was 25-21 versus Syracuse with Coach Boeheim. Boeheim was 7-4 against Hoyas coach Eric Escherick. Is that right? Escherick? I don't know how to Escherick. Yeah. So I'm going with that. 10-9.
Right.
10-9. Coach Boeheim over John Thompson III, and 3-1 currently over Patrick Ewing, according to orangehoops.org. The Orange took the last year's meeting. We did talk about non-conference play last year. We talked about non-conference play last year in the last show. So this was last year's win for Syracuse, 74-69. And that was at home in the Dome. Gerard, Boeheim, Dolezaj, Guerriere, and Griffin, your starting 5. Boeheim, buddy, with 21 points. As we record the show right now, the Hoyas sit 3-4. However, they do play a game here in about 15 minutes against UMBC. So these stats will change, but right now they're 3-4. They're led by 6'5", 210-pound freshman Mooney Muhammad. He's averaging just over 14 points a game and also leads the team in rebounding with 8. Georgetown is currently averaging 73 points and 40 rebounds a game, and the Ken Pom stats are as follows. They are 118th according to him, and adjusted offense of 105 in the nation, and adjusted defense of 132nd in the nation. And he's also predicting a 78-77 win for the Orange, Joe. So it looks like, just by looking at some of these box scores and kind of going over what they've done so far this year, I have not watched a game, but looking at the Ken Pom stats and things like that, it seems like they're kind of in the same place, maybe a little bit worse than they were last year. And that bodes well. But we are playing in Georgetown. So what do you got?
Yeah, they had some people that they lost, obviously, through transfer portal stuff. Obviously everybody has. But obviously looking at the team, that was one of the things I was going to say was, they got a game tonight, UMBC on Fox Sports 1. So anybody wants to go ahead and get a little bit of a, look at the team, that's going to be your best chance, obviously, up until this point. But looking at them, obviously they just look inconsistent, which kind of goes with right where their Ken Pom rankings are, right? Losing an opener to Dartmouth, then beating American by 22 and Siena by 18, but then losing against San Diego State, who's usually a good team, but then losing to St. Joe's by 3, not a great look. Beating Longwood by 8. So it's a little bit closer than probably what they wanted, and then they just lost at South Carolina, which again, South Carolina is a Power 5 team, lost by 13. So again, I think that this is a step down from our competition. We probably haven't played a team. Every team we've played since Colgate is pretty much better than Georgetown when you look at top to bottom of the roster and everything. Now, again, that doesn't mean that people can't have a day, or some people can have a good day or a bad day, but yeah, they're pretty much inconsistent right now and still trying to find their way and trying to find their roles before they get into Big East play. So obviously they'll look into tonight and to trying to help that a little bit. When you look at some of this game, when I looked at the South Carolina box score, their minutes were all over the place. I see they got Dikembe Mutombo's son. He's a freshman, 7'2", but he doesn't seem like he gets that many minutes. But Georgetown, looks like they go 4 guards and 1 center with Malcolm Wilson, who's 7 foot. So they got some length, but the players they're more similar to Jesse, where they're tall and lengthy versus some of the guys that Villanova had, like 6'7", 6'8", and just real strong they can jump. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, like you said, Aminu Muhammad, a freshman, him playing the way that he plays, obviously that poses a threat. Dante Harris is a sophomore guard who starts as well, along with Donald Carey, who's a senior guard. And then they also have a 5th-year senior transferred from the Citadel last year, Caden Rice, and he's 6'7" guard. So that's probably your second tallest guy on the starting lineup, but he's just lined up as a guard, but he's a 5th-year guy. So, this team is still young in a lot of areas, and then, they have a couple seniors, but one of the seniors is a transfer out of Citadel. So there's, again, still trying to figure out their roles, and, I don't really necessarily recognize a lot of these names, so this is going to be the first time for probably every single one of these players. It's going to be going against the zone and everything like that. So I can imagine they're probably going to be pretty sloppy. Again, their offense and their defense is not really that highly ranked in KenPom. So,
anything can happen. But one point that
anything can happen. Yeah.
I don't ever poo-poo. Yes, I do. That's a lie. I poo-poo Georgetown all the time. But it's such an important win to me, and I'm sure many other people my age, because there's Joe, we're old enough now to, let's just be honest, we're old enough now to where this isn't a big deal to some fans. It's just not. Some of the younger guys, they
don't understand it.
They don't understand it, right? They don't understand the physicality of these games.
With this game.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the problem. Because the thing is when you look at the KenPom and the analytics, this team is comparable to Colgate.
Right.
They're ranked 116 in KenPom. Colgate's ranked 127.
Yeah.
So this team is closer to Colgate than any of the other teams that we've played since the Bahamas and Indiana, Florida State, Villanova.
Right.
When you look at the analytics. Now obviously they're still trying to figure it out and get better, and they're probably improving, every day as well. It's just how fast are you going to improve, and we're still in non-conference. And when it comes down to it, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be Boeheim versus Ewing. It's going to be Georgetown versus Syracuse. It's going to have that whole aura, and that's why this game is going to get made to be bigger than a lot of people think that it's going to be. I think if this is a normal non-conference game and we don't have our history, then this is a game I'm looking at that we should be able to just handle. The only weird thing or different thing normally is that it's away. It's at Georgetown.
Right. And I would just like to point out too, Muhammad, who's their guy, right? 35% from 3. And as a team, they're shooting 36. Okay. So, with that said, you've got to,
right.
I don't know.
Problem is that they
tough.
don't have a lot
Colgate hit 18 against us, right? So, I'm just saying, that worries me. It always worries me. But it's the teams that you're look at Villanova last night, 13 for 50. If you'd have told me they were going to hit 13 threes, I'd have been a little worried. But if you'd have then told me instead that they shot 50, I'd have been like, oh, we're getting crushed, right? So it's just weird how it works like that. But anyway. So,
yeah, well, but this is also a team that's in 7 games has only shot 57 threes all year.
Right.
So they got a couple guys that are good that have shot, a decent amount of threes, but this isn't a team that I'm not worried about a team that only has maybe 1 or 2 3-point shooters, because you can kind of morph your zone into making sure that those guys don't get good shots, right? But a team like Villanova, where it seems like every guy can shoot a 3, and then they're all experienced and they can pass the ball. And you saw last night what they did. They were passing very, very well, and then you get an offensive rebound, and you get to do it all over again 2 or 3 times a possession until you hit a 3, and that's
Right.
pretty much what Villanova did against us. I don't see Georgetown being able to do that against us. So,
And I don't either. So we'll see. And I think the game is at noon, correct?
yep, it's noon on Saturday on Fox.
On Fox.
So,
So-
that's just. Hey, look, we need it.
Yeah, we need it. We
Not
need
to
these
say that
next 3.
Georgetown doesn't. Georgetown needs it too. But I'm saying, as far as working, I mean, we're going in. We got Lehigh. We got Cornell.
And we start full-fledged ACC play.
We had a brutal little non-conference schedule there. I mean, we normally don't go 6 games strong like that. Just it's playing against teams like that, and then it would have been 7 if Georgetown was a little bit better than. I mean, they're a little bit down this year than what they normally are. So. I mean, it's been a gauntlet. So if we can just get this one out of the way and then get back to the Dome and finish off against Lehigh and Cornell and get to 8-4 and you know.
You're playing. And then you got 4 games in the Dome in a row. So look forward to that if you're Syracuse. So
Yeah.
all right, that is going to do it for us today. And I mean, just Georgetown sucks. We should be able to handle Georgetown. I look forward to
Your
it.
mother's a Hoya.
Your mama's a Hoya. Go Cuse. Heads up. Not a big deal on this loss. We'll get through it. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.